Welcome back to practice. I actually don't have a plan for today's class. I came into the studio to record and thought, I'm not going to make a game plan. I'm just going to let this be intuitive and more of a free form flow. You can likely expect that there'll be some mobility, obviously some yoga, breath work, maybe even meditation thrown in at the end. I would like you to have a couple of blocks handy just in case we need them. So that feeling of the shoulders kind of rolling in and down, palms facing up back there behind you. So beginning in this little seed-like shape. And keep the forehead or the hairline quite grounded. Reach your arms so they're super long and then raise them up above you. Then turn your thumbs in and up to the sky so you really maximize that internal rotation and see if you can lift a little bit higher up through the arms. Stretch from the elbows out through the fingers. Palms are internally rotated to face out and breathe. Then relax the arms back by the sides. Now extend them forward. And when you do this, be on the pinky side of your hand, so the thumb side of your hand is pointing up. And find that stretch. Fingertips reach away, hips push back. And then begin to roll the thumbs out to the side so the palms open as best you can. So this external rotation in your shoulder joints. And feel how that impacts the side body. Then rotate palms down. Walk your hands back, just maybe a hand print or so. So you're freeing up the chest and you're freeing up the upper back. Start looking down. And then as you inhale, drag your arm bones backwards, pull your chest, your chin, and your throat forward. Taking extension in your upper back. When you exhale, drive the hands forward, pull your chest away from your thumbs, and then tip the chin down and under towards the chest. Do that a few times, so creating an arc in the upper back and the neck spine as you inhale. And then creating that counter movement, that rounding in the upper back and neck spine as you exhale. Do this a couple more times. Then come to what feels like you're in a neutral point. So you're not working one way or working the other. Come up to tabletop from there. And you could line your wrists right underneath your shoulders, or you could walk your hands a little bit forward. So a loosely oriented tabletop position. And then fine articulation. So inhale, sit bones lift, belly moves down, rib cage slides forward, chin goes up. When you exhale, keep the chin up, then tuck tail first, belly up second, chest up third, chin down last. And coming back to that inhale down the spine. So as the breath moves in and you lift your sit bones, it hits the tailbone and climbs all the way up. And then as you exhale and round, it's moving from the tailbone all the way up the spine, and then it leaves you as you dive your chin to your chest. One more articulation. Inhale down the spine as you climb up the spine. I know, it sounds weird. Exhale up the spine as you roll around from the bottom of the spine to the top of the spine. Then come back to a neutral position. Take right hand behind your head with your elbow wide. Keep it wide so the armpit is wide, the upper back is wide. Take breath in, open up to the right. When you exhale, bring right elbow across to left forearm somewhere. Keep stamping your left hand into the ground. Inhale, open wide. So we engage this rotation. Exhale, come across. And one more. Up and open. And down, across. Come back to a wide wing and release your right hand down. Switch sides. Catch the back of the head with the left hand. Keep your elbow wide. Use inhale to open, rotate. Exhale to close the rotation. And you're probably going to notice somewhere in here that you rotate much better in one direction than you do the other. We have these habitual movement patterns that we do daily. We might always grab for the thing with that same right side or left side. Something might be, it depends, like we could live on the right side of the bed or left side of the bed, and that could change how we're grabbing for things, getting up, rolling over. So these patterns live inside of us. One more. Inhale, open. Exhale and close. Set left hand underneath the left shoulder. And then walk your knees in so they're closer together. Keep your hands how they are. Draw the navel in, the tailbone down. Extend right leg back with the toes tucked. And then point the toes, but keep the top of the toes pressing into the yoga mat. Find glute engagement. So where I want you to squeeze is at the bottom, graphic, bottom of your butt cheek, top of your thigh. So that's glute med. Now can you lift the leg up and hold it there? Waken that up. Now left arm goes forward. Find your sunbird. Keep reaching from the bottom of your butt cheek out through the tips of those toes. Exhale, release the hand and release the knee back underneath you. Extend the left leg back. Start with the toes tucked. Find your balance. Then untuck. Click the toenails down. Squeeze the bottom glute where it attaches to the thigh. Then lift up. Mind belly. Keep it drawn in. And then right arm forward, sunbird. Use exhale, release the hand, and then release the knee back underneath you. Walk your hand to handprint forward. Prep for your first down dog. Shift forward, tuck toes. Shift back, hips up. And then breathe in this pose. If you need to close your eyes, find the inhale down to tailbone so it hits third eye and goes to root. Exhale moves from root to third eye and out. See if you can carve that pattern of breath inside. And take a deep inhale all the way so it hits tail. As you exhale, crouch, look forward. Inhale, step, step, 2 giant ones to the front. Keep inhaling, lift halfway up. And exhale, fold. Get passive here, ragdoll hang, or just let your arms dangle. And then I want you to practice leaning forward. So the heels stay grounded, but a lot more weight goes into the toes. So we're not hanging back, hanging in the past. We're shifting forward enough to be here now, so not so far forward we're in the future. So it's pelvis more over the feet. And then hands to hips, elbows point up. Push the feet, inhale, come up to standing. Take your arms to the front plane of you, press them, firm them against your thighs. Put a tiny bend in your knees, so just enough that the skin of the back of the knees gets a little looser. And practice hip hinging. So when you inhale, slide your hands down, keep your back straight, go to mid shin. And then when you exhale and come up, press your pelvis forward, but don't tuck your tailbone. Just push the neutral pelvis forward. Inhale, shift forward and down. Keep the back flat, so no rounding, especially in the upper back. And as you exhale, you come up, neutral pelvis, but the hips press forward a bit. And if you're interested to feel what's happening with your hands, you can put your hands on your butt. And then when you come up and you press your pelvis forward without tucking, feel that awakening in the glutes. You can also bring your hands to your hamstrings, and you can feel how this works the hamstrings. So as you rise up, it's a little hard to do. You can feel the hamstrings engaging back there. Do one more. Slide hands mid-shin, or keep your hands on your butt or back thighs. And exhale, come all the way up. So that activation for the posterior chain of our body. Then come to Tadasana. Let's do one of my favorite things to do in Tadasana. Don't look, but lift your 10 toes off the floor. Then try not to look. Put just your big toes down. Feel into that. What's it like to just put my big toes down? Try to keep the outer four up. And then can you switch? Big toes up, outer four down. And then look at your hands, and you're probably doing guns with your hands. It's like we get these, kind of like that Joe Biden from Saturday Night Live thing going on in the hands. Relax your hands. Go big toes down, outer four up again. So switch into that pattern. And then go all the toes up. Lift them up, spread them. Like spread your fingers and your toes will follow suit. And then place the toes, pinky one first, then roll in till your big toe is on the floor. Now you've got all 10, provided you have 10 toes. You have all of them set down. You have as many toes on the ground as you have. Exhale everything. When you inhale, reach your arms behind you. Circle them back, out, and up. Palms touch in front of you. Exhale, hip hinge and forward fold. So just that little opening for the shoulders in the Surya Namaskar. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back to plank. Keep exhaling, lower the knees and come all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes. Let your legs be soft. Slide your hands back by about 1/2 inch. Then hover your hands. See if you can lift the chest by pressing pubic bone, pressing tops of feet. Inhale. So it's a cobra that floats. Exhale, chest and hands to the floor. Tuck toes. Inhale, seat to heels. Exhale, hips go back, downward facing. Breathe here. 1, 4 breaths. 2. 3. And 4. Prepare by inhaling down to base of tail. Exhaling from tail all the way out, crouch. Inhale, feet to hands. Lengthen. Exhale and fold. Take your arms from forward fold back behind you. And when you inhale, rise up, circle your arms way back. Then to the front plane, palms touch. Exhale, release to mountain pose. Let's try that again. Inhale, circle back, around, up, touch palms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plank. Keep exhaling lower down. It could be chaturanga now, but then land to the floor. Slide hands back, hover them. Use the upper back to lift you into cobra. Exhale to the ground. Inhale, tuck toes, sit back, heels. Exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing. So we're going to move a little more slow and steady. We'll do a few more. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Deep breath in. It goes to tailbone. Exhale, crouch, tailbone out with the breath. Inhale, feet there. Keep inhaling, lift. Exhale, fold. While you're folded, arms go back. Inhale, circle them back behind you, around in front. Touch the palms. Exhale, release the arms. Then we'll do chaturanga up dog. You can stay with the down all the way down to the floor to cobra if you'd like. Inhale, circle arms back, around, palms touch in front. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back. Keep exhaling, lower down, either all the way or truly hovering. Inhale, that cobra, or now it's up dog, upper back curls. Exhale, hips glide back, downward facing. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Inhale to base of tail, down to the root. As you exhale, crouch, expel the air from there. Inhale, feet to hands. Lengthen. Exhale, fold. Arms reach back first. Inhale, circle them back, around, up, touch palms. Exhale, release back to mountain pose. And then open wide stance. Let's face the long side of the mat or the screen. I don't know how you're situated out there, but come to wide stance. And take your arms behind you with the hands interlaced. Open up through the chest. Try to draw the rib cage back and the tailbone forward so you get that engagement of the butt, the posterior chain. Keep that. Turn your right toes so they face forward. Keep your left foot as it is. And can you keep shoulders and armpits aligned right over the top of your hip joints? Deep breath in. Exhale, create lunge through right thigh till it's parallel to the floor. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, go back down. So try to stay vertical. There's no leaning, so it's not tipping the spine on a forward angle like Trikonasana. You're keeping that work of navel back, lifting the front spine, back spine follows suit. Then coming into it, the depth of that lunge, breathe here. So it's warrior 2 without the arms in the traditional pattern. And can you find right glute squeezing in to help take right knee open out to the side a bit more? Light that up. Keep your hands how you have them. Inhale, straighten right leg. As you exhale, turn right foot in, left foot out. Practice going in and out of the lunge without a forward lean, without a surf effect happening. So think long side body. You might even notice your elbows start to pinch in towards your skull. Work with wide collarbones too. And this is a beautiful head rest, so you can keep the back of your neck long. Come into the depth of your lunge. Connect left glute, firming in to pull left knee wide. Breathe. Use in-breath, straighten left leg. Exhale, pivot the feet so they face the same direction. Reach your arms high and wide, then reach them back behind you into internal rotation, interlace your hands. Inhale, chest and eyes lift, so front body stretches. Exhale, fold. Back body stretches and front of shoulders open as you take the arms up and over. And even in these upside down poses, can you connect with breathing up to the tailbone, right? So if we were standing, we'd be breathing down to the tailbone, but we're inverted, so the breath is climbing up to the tailbone. Exhale fully. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. Then do true horizontal with your arms. Keep your mega wide stance. Turn your right toes out. Turn your back foot in. So we usually shorten the stance for triangle pose, but let's keep it wide like Iyengar style. And then inhale, lift up, reach away. Just keep going until it feels like, all right, I got enough there. Then bottom hand somewhere, upper arm to sky. Use exhale, look down, bend your front knee, touch floor so you're squaring up along that right leg. Turn your back heel and lower the knee. Walk your hands back some, untuck your toes back there. So left toes untuck. Pull it back towards runner stretch, start there. Crown of head reaching away from the dragging back of your right hip. And then you can stay up here. You're welcome to stay up here. Or if you want to get a little more hunkered down in this, sit back so you're on your left heel. And your right leg is free in front of you. Find that spine that's elongated, like real vertical, and then can you take the straightness of that shape and walk it forward any amount? So it gets into a different part of hamstring muscle when you're a little set deeper towards the floor. Feel free to be up in the half split position if this pose is cranky for ankles or knees, or even if it doesn't feel good for those hamstrings. And look forward towards what is now the front edge of your yoga mat. Bend your front knee, walk it forward, back towards a crescent lunge shape. Come back to vertical. So spine goes up. You might need to push back to get both legs at 90-degree angles so you're much more vertical through the spine. Take your hands behind your head. We're going back to this work. Only this time we rotate. So inhale, find vertical. Exhale, turn your chest towards the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, go right again. Keep your tailbone curled under so you keep the left glute firing in this one. Now stay revolved to the right. Go into that lunge with a little more depth. And then lean forward. Take left elbow outside of right knee. Right hand to prayer. Revolved. Crescent pose. Unwind, touch the floor. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee back there, walk your arms forward. Stand on the right leg, standing split. And keep your length. This is where you may need blocks underneath your hands to bring the floor up to you. And then let's do a little glute work, shall we, for this left leg. Lower the left leg till the toes touch down, and you're keeping that pointed foot. Connect the bottom of your left butt cheek to the reach of your left big toes, and then slowly lift the leg. So getting that lower glute to fire. And then do little pulses up. So someone put glute strengthening. They threw glute strengthening into the hat. And here we go. Keep going. Take 5 more little pulses. Bend your front knee, land your back leg all the way back. And pivot so you're forward facing, wide stance on your yoga mat. Hands to the hips, inhale, come up to standing. Keep your mega stance, triangle other side, left toes point out, right foot turns slightly in. Reach the arms. Inhale, cast away, and exhale, climb in there. So in this pose, I love the spaciousness of it, like the expanding out in all directions. Maybe you connect into that as well. Then glance down with your eyes, bend the front knee, touch ground. Now it's right heel that lifts, right knee that comes to the floor. Pull back into the runner stretch, untucking your right toes. And then crown of head reaches forward as left leg drags back. And again, you can stay high or you can drop it down, sitting on the heel. Keep the length and walk forward. And send your eyes towards the real front edge of your yoga mat. Bend your front knee, travel forward. And then come to crescent lunge, like back out of it. So you're that vertical right side, vertical spine, vertical left shin, hands behind the head, elbows, armpits wide. So rather than passively twisting and hooking the arm and leveraging ourselves into it, we warm up with active. Take breath in, tailbone is under. Exhale, rotate left. Bring it back to center. Use the breathing out, the narrowing of the rib cage to turn you. Again. As you exhale, turn, add a little bit of lean forward, a little depth of lunge, and then hook, right elbow outside of left thigh, hands to prayer. Then you can use a little bit of leverage to turn, to complete your wrap. Release, unwind, touch ground. Tuck toes, lift back knee, walk it forward, standing split. Instead of bowing, stay long through the spine, stay long through the standing leg. Point the right toes, drop them down so they're about 1.5 feet behind your left heel. And activate under the butt cheek, out through the tip of the toes. Raise the legs, see if you can get that engagement in the lower glute, glute med, and then pulsing up. You don't have to pulse much, you're going to find it. And 5 more little pulses. Then bend left knee, land those right toes back. Hands to the ground, downward dog, step all the way back. Vinyasa if you'd like to take one or stay put in your downward dog. And from here, come down to your hands and your knees. And from there, swing your legs around. Let's take a moment on the back and do some front body strengthening. So come all the way down to the floor. Have your block handy to you, please. Do a bridge posture setup. And then lift your legs to tabletop. So zip them together so it's like one leg instead of two. And shins parallel to the ground. Take your yoga block, put it mid-thigh, push your hands against the block into your thighs and pull your thighs back into your block. Notice if the lower back is up off the floor, you might need to bring your knees in a little bit closer to get the low back released into the ground. So you're pushing the block into the legs, but pulling the legs back into the block. And it's subtle, but not so subtle. One more breath with this. Then release the feet to the floor. Take your block off to the side. Check in with your lower back that you cannot slide your hand underneath you. So you press the rib cage down into the ground. Arms by your side, palms facing down without gripping the floor. Come back to that shins at tabletop, legs separate this time. And then begin to tap your toes down one at a time. So it's big toe taps down. Now, I'm pretty short in the way that I'm tapping, so I'm going like down right underneath my knee, but I'm gonna go a little farther away, right? Just to up the ante, and you can too. So recruiting a little bit more of that front muscles. Two more each side. And then hug your knees in towards your body. Now let's go back to the bridge setup so the soles of the feet are grounded. Take that yoga block that's handy to you and put it underneath your right foot. So right foot's on block, left foot is not. Arms by your side, pinky side of the hand down, thumb side of the hand up. Push into the feet, lift your hips off the floor. Keep the right foot high up on the block, squeeze right hip in and under, and then bring left knee in towards you, left leg to sky. And now we add down and up. So as you inhale, come down until your lower back wants to touch the floor, but don't let it. And then exhale, push into the block. Squeeze the right hip as you lift. Do this a few times on each side. We'll switch the block after 5 on this right side. Sometimes I like to just let the heel touch the yoga block and lift the rest of the foot, and it changes the spiciness in the meatball. One more time. Hold it up high, and then slowly lower down. Release the left foot to the ground. Switch your block over underneath your left foot. So that becomes the ground for the left foot to stand on. Go back to pinky side of the hands down, thumb side of the hand up. Push both feet to get the hips up. Right knee comes in, right leg reaches. And then down and up. And if you liked being just on the heel while you pushed up, you're welcome to. When you go down, it's like a hair's breadth above the floor and then back up. Hold it up there. Release the foot and then come all the way back down. Get rid of that thing. Hug your knees into you. Cross your ankles. And then take a little rock all the way up towards seated. Then come to kneeling pose. Knees underneath you. Find Tadasana in this. So think of the vertical line of your spine, shoulders in your side plane. Can you reach down through the knees while you reach up through the crown of your head? Close your eyes. While we're here, we're going to do just a really brief pranayama with the eyes closed, standing in this kneeling mountain. So exhale all of your breath while you're here. Then inhale for 2 seconds and hold. Inhale for 2 more. Hold. Inhale for 2 more. Feel yourself really buoyant. Hold. Exhale, let it all go. Expanding breath capacity. Do it again. Inhale 2 seconds. Hold. Inhale 2 more. Hold. Inhale the most, you're most buoyant and filled up. Hold. Exhale, empty, 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 empty. Last one, do it on your own. So you're going to breathe in 3 segments until you're so full, you're swollen with breath. Exhaling and letting it all go. Keep your eyes closed and notice what happened with the breath. How your capacity for inhalation, exhalation has just become enlarged, right? Open the eyes. Reach your arms back behind you. Stay tall, circle them back, around, and up. Palms touch above you, look up. Lift your heart up towards your thumbs. Let your shoulder blades rise up your back. Like someone's got you by the fingers and they're lengthening you up, up, and away. Now keep that. Circle your hands back to your lower back, top of your buttocks. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, curl back. Do this a couple of times until you find your Ustrasana. Hips are forward, butt is awake. Use next inhale to find vertical. Exhale, sit on your heels. Take a moment. We're going to do that 2 more times. If you don't like the kneeling version, this is essentially a kneeling version of bridge pose when we're doing camel, right? Especially when you go for that heel grab. It's just the orientation to gravity is different. You get to use the floor as leverage to put you into the back bends when you're doing bridge, and your neck is a little differently positioned. So if you want to come onto your back and take bridge, you're welcome to. Otherwise, come back to kneeling. Find like Tadasana from the crown of the head to the knees that's kind of rigid, like really structured. Hips are pressing forward so you have that activation of your glutes. Then take your arms back behind you. Circle them back, around, and up. You're inviting that chest to open. Palms meet in front of you. Look up. Reach up like you're being pulled to the heavens above. Now take the hands back behind you. Support yourself. And start to lift up and curl back. Lift up and curl back, hips press forward. Now you can stay here or go hands to heels. I like fingertips pointing forward towards the calves. You might do something different. Head back, breathe. Next inhale, lift. Exhale, sit. Compose yourself. Close your eyes, go in. And let's do one more, either supine bridge or kneeling ustrasana. If we're kneeling, let's build it the same, right? Third round. Find your really structured kneeling Tadasana. Take the arms into the back plane first. Circle them so the palms roll open. It's like you're gathering. Back behind you to open chest, then in front to get the shoulder blades up and to find your up. Keep your up. Keep all of that lift off of your pelvis. Bring your hands around to your lumbar. Start to find your Ustrasana. If you're going hands to heels, take it there. Next inhale, lift. Exhale, sit. Open the knees, big toes together. Bring it forward into child's pose. Forehead to the mat. Breathe in through the nose. Let it hit your third eye. Let the inhale travel all the way to the base of the tailbone. And the exhale is the reversal pattern from tail to third eye and back out into the ether around you. And come up to hands and knees from where you're at. Take yourself into downward facing dog, but please make it short. So walk your feet about a footprint forward. Maybe you have to come on to fingertips. You might even use blocks under your hands, but let's let the heels ground. The hips stretch back. And then try sit bones towards each other. So it's like the outer right hip is drawing in towards the right sit bone. Outer left hip is drawing into the left sit bone. So the sit bones gather underneath you, widening in the back. And then step the hands forward or the feet back, going back to downward facing. And take right leg, lift it. As you exhale, right shin underneath, pigeon prep. Move the left leg back. Instead of going right through the middle, can you angle your chest towards your right knee? So you're adding a turn, a rotation into this. Walk away, reach over towards the right. You might even lay your chest against the inside of your right leg. And then from this right reach, go left reach. So you kind of spider across, extend out to the left. Breathe there. And bring it back through to the center. And then when you get to the center, walk back. Tuck your toes under, step back, downward facing dog. Use breath in, left leg goes up. Exhale, left shin underneath. Edge your right leg back. We're exploring the two sides, so like side bending the spine, walk to the left, maybe laying your belly and chest against the inner leg. Reach out and away. And then bring it across all the way to the right. So we're skipping the middle today and just exploring the sides. Bring it back to the middle, walk in, walk towards yourself. Right leg comes all the way around. Set up double pigeon. So Agni Stambhasana, left shin is parallel with the front edge of your mat. I'm facing screen. Right shin goes on top. And when you look down in that space between your legs, look for a triangle. So it should be, I think they call it equilateral, all sides even. And if you have a ton of space between inner bottom foot and outer knee, you can always tuck a block or a blanket in there. So settle into sit bones. And then let's turn this into a twist. Can you take your right arm across and push the back of your forearm or the back of the wrist into the sole of your right foot? Left hand goes onto the sacrum. Inhale, find up. Exhale, find rotation. Turn your head back to the left. So this hybrid of Agni Stambhasana with the half Lord of the Fishes idea going on in it. Lift up out of the low back. Find some more space. Inhale, eyes forward. Exhale, unwind. Right shin's on top. Let's switch it. Right shin on the bottom, left shin on top. Find your equilateral. And take a moment just to sit in it. Let the hips get weighty. And then turn it into twist. So that left arm is going across, hooking into the sole of the left foot. Right hand on sacrum. Inhale, find up. Exhale, a little bit of leverage as you push the back of the wrist or forearm to help you to rotate, eyes to the right. The more you find up, the more you'll lift out of lumbar, lift out of sacrum. So there'll be all this space, all this height in the low back. Use in-breath, eyes forward. And exhale to unwind. Uncross your legs, shake them out a little bit. And then let's take a supported shoulder stand. Let's work with the hips up on the yoga blocks. Come down to a bridge pose. Have your blocks handy to you. So they should be right by your side so you can grab them. Feet at hips distance. Let's start there. Lower back into the floor. So we worked this before when we were doing that glute work of lifting our hips. Now push your feet, lift your hips, and slide your blocks underneath you. And I'm putting mine on my medium setting. And they're going side by side to each other so that I have a big old square of surface area to rest my back onto. Once you have that, arms go by your sides. You can wrap your hands around your yoga blocks. You could also have pinky side of the hand down, thumb side of the hand up. Heel toe your feet together. Squeeze your legs together. Pull your knees in until your sacrum's resting on the blocks. Then point the toes and extend the legs. Now I like to do this with pointed toes, but you could do it with flointed toes, which is half point, half flex. So it's like you point your toes and then you pull your toes back towards your face. Chin tucks, so you have the back of the skull spread into the floor. And let's stay here, true inversion style. We'll stay for 10 to 15 breaths. Those of you in shoulder stand, you're entering through plow, you're going up. When you come down, you're coming out through your plow pose. This is an inversion. So we have this idea of the tailbone is above us. So if you're finding that breathing pattern that's in through the nose, up to third eye, into tailbone, your tailbone might be way high above your eye gaze, especially if you're in that shoulder stand. Legs awake, those of you out there in full shoulder stand. So you have a zipper through the inner thighs. And us up on the blocks, we've got that too. 3 more breaths. Then bringing knees in first, then land one foot and then the other. Ground the soles of the feet, pause. Hips rise off the blocks, they get pulled off to the side, hips coming back to the floor. Arms in a T or elbows bent. You can go to more cactus or goalposts. Heel toe feet wide. A few windshield wipers. Move at your own pace. And let's take it into sleeper. So as your legs drop to the left, pick up your left foot, hook it on the outside of your right knee, and then roll your right ear to the floor. So head turns right, lower body left. And then unhook that left foot, left ankle. Turn the head center, bring both knees to the right. Pick up right foot, hook it on the outside of left knee. Roll the left ear to the floor. Center the head, unhook the right ankle. Heel toe your feet back towards each other. Bring your legs into you, wrap your arms around them, then peel your head, your neck, and your shoulder blades up off the ground. Make yourself the tiniest little compacted seed and breathe. And then releasing head, neck, shoulder blades to ground. Let go of your legs. Set yourself for Shavasana. And closing the horizon line of your eyes when you get there. And connecting to the breath. The first few where they're climbing down to tail. Feel the rise of belly. Exhales move from tail out into the space around you. Belly softens. And invite awareness back. To feet, hands, fingers, toes. Find movement in them. Raise your right arm overhead and bend your knees, drag your feet in. Roll onto your right side. And take a full breath into the back of you. So breathe into the very back edge of your spine. So you fill out the back body with your breath. And press down with the free hand into the ground. Lift yourself up to a seat you can sustain for just a few minutes of closing pranayama practice. Find an energized but sustainable way of sitting. Bring the horizon line of the eyes closed, so there's that inward gaze happening. And then right hand to the bridge of the nose, so the thumb can close off the right nostril if it wanted to, and the thumb or index finger could close the left. Don't close anything quite yet. Exhale everything. Close the left. Inhale through the right. Breathing in till you can't breathe in anymore. And close and hold. Then exhale out of the left side. Then initiate the inhale through the left. And fill up so there's that buoyancy. And closing it, hold it in. Exhale out of the right side. Initiate inhale through right, filling up gently until you find that lightness, and close and hold. Exhale out of the left-hand side. Do a few more on your own. And your hold can be a half a second, 1 second, 3 seconds. It's up to you, right? Some people don't like the feeling of holding breath. I get it. And finishing up your last round or two, see that you end with exhalation out of the left hand side. And once you're complete, release the hand away from the face. And then gathering in, the hands come together. This gesture of gratitude and offering. And may the merits of this practice that we've done here this morning benefit all beings everywhere. Namaste.